In the Arabian Sea lies a city that should not exist, a city built by God Krishna himself, a city of golden palaces swallowed by the ocean in one night. The mysteries of Dwarka are many. The city built on land given by the sea god, the curse that destroyed God Krishna's own clan, the ocean that rose and drowned the city, the divers who found walls and anchors underwater, the puzzle of time where science and scripture do not agree, and the question of whether Dwarka sank slowly or in one giant wave. I have walked these ghats, I have stood at the Dwarakadish temple and looked out at the sea, and I have wondered about these mysteries myself. After God Krishna killed Kansa in Mathura, Jarasandha attacked again and again. 17 times the Yadavas fought, 17 times they survived. But God Krishna knew Mathura was no longer safe. He prayed to the sea god. The ocean gave him land. On that land, Vishwakarma built Dwarka. The scriptures describe it with wonder. Palaces of crystal and silver, golden towers shining in the sun, wide roads filled with elephants and horses, markets of silk and jewels, lotus ponds alive with swans, temples where music never ceased. At the center stood God Krishna's own palace. Around it rose 16,000 mansions for his queens. This was Dwarka, a heavenly city built on the sea. But even the greatest city cannot escape destiny. After the war of Kurukshetra, Gandhari saw her 100 sons dead. Her grief turned into a curse. She told God Krishna that the Yadavas too would perish. And then came another curse through God Krishna's son Samba. In arrogance, he mocked the sages. He disguised himself as a pregnant woman and demanded a prophecy. The sages saw the insult. They cursed him. Samba would bring forth an iron pestle. That pestle would destroy his own clan. The pestle was ground to powder and thrown into the sea. But fate cannot be thrown away. The waves returned the fragments. One was eaten by a fish, others were shaped into arrows. The weapon of destruction was already made. 36 years later, the curse came true. The Yadavas gathered near Dwarka. Wine was drunk, quarrels broke out, anger became war. Brothers killed brothers, fathers killed sons. The clan destroyed itself in one night. God Krishna walked away. He sat under a peepal tree. A hunter named Zara mistook him for a deer. His arrow struck God Krishna's foot. The avatar's time on earth was complete. At that moment, the sea began to rise. Arjuna came to Dwaraka. He saw the ocean flooding the streets, golden mansions sinking one after another, the entire city swallowed by the waves. For centuries, Dwarka lived only in scriptures, but in 1983, divers entered the sea near modern Dwarka. What they found shocked the world. Stone walls under the water, massive blocks arranged like fortresses, rows of stones lined like streets. They found anchors, heavy stone anchors with 3 holes, the same design used by ships thousands of years ago. They also found pottery, beads and tools, and most striking of all, a carved seal with animal figures. The text says citizens of Dwarka carried seals. Finding one underwater was like scripture rising through the sea. I remember taking the boat to Bet Dwarka. Looking at the waves, I thought of those divers touching the stones of God Krishna's city. The finds were tested in labs. The results said they were about 3,500 years old. But our tradition places God Krishna's time more than 5,000 years ago. Maybe we are seeing only one layer of Dwarka. Maybe the older layers are still hidden deeper below the seabed. Faith never doubted Dwarka. Science is only now catching up. But how did the city drown? Some say the sea rose slowly, century by century. Others point to the way the stones are scattered, as if struck down by violence, a tsunami, an earthquake, a great wave that ended the city in one night. The Arabian Sea has swallowed villages before. Even today, the coast remembers temples dragged into the sea. Dwarka could have been one of them. As I stood at the Gomti Ghat, watching the tide rise and fall, I asked myself, was this the same tide that once roared into Dwarka? Even today, the search continues. Divers map walls and foundations near Dwarka and Bet Dwarka. Each year, the ocean gives up more clues, but much still remains hidden. The very name Dwarka means gateway, and that is what the city has become, a gateway between devotion and discovery, between what scriptures told us and what science now finds. The sea does not lie, the ruins are real. The anchors are real, the seals are real. Our scriptures spoke of Dwarka long ago. For devotees, there was never any doubt. Now the ocean itself is revealing what faith has always known. Perhaps Dwarka was not destroyed to be forgotten. Perhaps it was submerged to guard its secrets, waiting for the right time to be seen again. I have walked these ghats, I have prayed in this temple, I have looked at these waves, and I have felt that Dwarka is not just under the sea. Dwarka lives in every devotee who calls out to God Krishna. So what do you think? What other mysteries should we explore together? Tell me in the comments. And if you want more journeys into India's sacred stories, don't forget to subscribe to the Temple Girl.